not want to do this video, but I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I know a lot of people are wondering what's been going on with me, why am I home so often, all of that good stuff. And let me take out this gum because that's trifling to be on camera doing that. I need some paper though. So yeah, I did resign as a flight attendant, and I know you guys are like, girl, did you give it a chance? Did you really just not like it? The answer to both of those questions is yes, I gave it a chance, and no, I didn't like it. Because of the simple fact that there were a lot of things that were kind of like a gut feeling that I shouldn't be doing this. And I had started, everything that I do, I pray. I pray in the morning, I pray in the middle of the day when I'm feeling anxiety attacks coming. I pray before I go to sleep. I pray in the shower. I pray whenever I'm feeling like I need a little bit of strength. So, throughout the whole process of, training, ground training, it was the most intense month I have ever been through in my entire life. Like, seriously, 4 years of college, like, it was a little bit better than that. Just because in college you have at least a little bit of time, everything is spread out throughout the semester, and then like you basically have all this time to study for things, and you still go through pressure. It's not the easiest thing to do to go through undergrad, but at the end of the day, it was not as rushed as this process was. You have tests literally almost every day, and it's very stressful. But luckily, and by the grace of God, I didn't have to take any of my tests over again. I passed them all the first time, and with above a 90% on all of them. So, which is a blessing. I absolutely am so proud of myself for getting through that. That's an accomplishment that I will never, just throw under the rug. Like, I absolutely am so proud of myself that I got through that, because it was like one of the most stressful months of my entire life, literally. So I lost so much weight, which I'm not that excited about, because I didn't lose it the healthy way. I lost it because I was stressed out. So yeah, let's see, I spent so much money. They suggested, and I have a friend that works for the exact same airline. She suggested bringing like at least $500 to $600. I spent close to $1,000 the whole time I was in Arizona. That's where my training was at, is in Phoenix, Arizona. And it was just beautiful being out there, but I spent so much money, and you don't realize it until you kind of look at your bank statements like, honey, like, what am I doing? This is a lot. I'm spending a whole lot of money. So by the end of it, by the time I graduated, I had spent close to $1,000, which was not in just 1 month. Like, that's insane to me. So what else? Basically, I was asking God, like, okay, once I had graduated, I already kind of had like those feelings of like, okay, is this really something you really want to do, or is this something that you're doing because a lot of people tell you that you would be really good at it? Like, you look like a flight attendant, you sound like a flight attendant, you have that helping spirit like a flight attendant, you've been serving in your church, you've been serving, in other capacities all your life. So I think that this is just your path. This is what you need to do. And one thing I will caution everybody to be aware of about themselves is to make sure that you're not, it's okay to take advice from other people, and it's okay to listen to other people's feedback, but at the end of the day, this is your life, and unfortunately you don't have a reset button on certain things that you wish you could do over. You have to do it right the first time. You have to make sure that it's something that you, anything that you do in life is something that you really want to do. Of course, everybody's going to make bad decisions. We're going to do things that we regret. A lot of people have regrets, but make sure that when you're maturing in age, make sure that you are reflecting on everything that you have been through in your life thus far, and just make sure you don't make the same mistakes again. Making sure that you don't listen to other people when it's regarding your life, You know what I'm saying? It's okay to take your parents' advice. It's okay to take sibling advices, aunts, uncles, close friends, all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, this is your life. Your life. So when it comes to career choices, children, marriage, anything like that that's super substantial in your life, you need to make sure that you are making the right decision for you. And I was thinking, going through my mind, I'm like, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because other people said that this is something that I need to pursue? It's a great career. I would travel for free. I would see the world, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, once I started getting into it and flying, and I was just like, I had the worst feeling in the pit of my stomach every single time I boarded a plane after that. And I will tell you, not boarding a plane, just traveling as a passenger and traveling as a flight attendant is two very different things. So if you're wondering, or if you're wanting to be a flight attendant, I should have said this at the beginning, but I do not want to deter you from wanting to be a flight attendant or pursuing your dream of being a flight attendant, because at the end of the day, this life, that flight attendant life, is for some people, or there wouldn't be flight attendants out there. But my friend, she absolutely loves it. Like, you know, she's been doing it for like almost 4 years now, I think. So, you know, she loves it. Like, there's people out there that absolutely love the fast life, not having a traditional 9 to 5. Some people just love that on the go type lifestyle. So definitely, if that's you, this is something you definitely should still pursue. But always take into consideration the pros and the cons of everything. When you're traveling as a flight attendant, you really don't get to enjoy the places that you go as much, because you kind of have to be still in work mode. Not very often will you have those, or especially when you first start out, will you have those exotic places that you go to and then just get like 2-day layovers just to chill. No, most of the time you're going and you're there for a few hours, and then the next morning you got to be back on the plane in your uniform, ready to serve, you know what I'm saying, or ready to perform your duties as a flight attendant. So for me, it was just I weighed out the pros and cons for myself, and it was not a good decision for me. And then also I had an incident that happened in Louisville, Kentucky, and my face is beat, so I'm not about to cry on this during this video, but it was probably one of the most traumatic things that has ever happened to me in my entire life. I was getting off of the plane. I got off the plane. I called my Uber driver to take me to my hotel, where I was staying. I got out of this is just a long story short, because I don't really want to get into it, because that's when I'll get emotional. But anyway, I was getting out of my Uber car. It was a Caucasian lady, and I was getting out of her car, out of the back, and I went around to her trunk to get out of all of my luggage out of her car. And on the other side of the berm, I was hearing like all of this like racial slurs, like, and I'm not one to curse on camera, but they were calling me nigger bitch, they was calling me cunt, they was calling me all types of just jabs, like at women, just at racial slurs, period. The N-word came out multiple times. So I'm in uniform at this point, so I did not react. I didn't travel in my uniform, but I feel like sometimes you get treated better a little bit, you know, when you are in your uniform. So once I landed, I did change into my uniform. So I'm in my uniform. I didn't want to react how I normally would react to something like that, because Deanna would have definitely reacted a different way. But I went ahead and ignored it, and I turned around to go inside of the hotel. Now, this hotel was kind of shady a little bit to me. It was one of those hotels that had like a door, and you had to like, it was another door after that you had to buzz in. It was kind of weird, yeah, it was like buzzing in. It was like weird. I've never stayed in a hotel like that, and I was just like, okay, am I just being bougie, or is this some type of weird Kentucky type airport that I've never encountered? But anyway, so I'm turning around and I'm ignoring still the chants, and I proceed to walk towards the door, and I guess the people in the car, and I realized it was at least 4 to 5 white Caucasian Caucasian men in the car. It was a black Nissan, and I turned, like I said, I'm walking towards the door, and I guess they didn't like that I didn't, excuse me, that I didn't react to what they were saying. So they proceed to throw rocks at me and at my Uber driver's car. It was very odd. I'm not exactly sure. Like, I went black at that point, and I started running after their car. They skirted out of the hotel parking lot. I did not get their plates information. The whole thing is extremely shady to me, and it was nuts. If I was looking back at it, I didn't sleep at all that night. I couldn't get back home until the next day, so I actually ended up having to stay at that hotel, which I was very uncomfortable with. I went ahead and moved the whole dresser in front of the door because I was so spooked and so scared. Like, it was just nuts. I've never experienced nothing like that. I went ahead and called the police, of course. I filed a police report, all of that, but I didn't really have much information to give them. And the actual hotel that I was staying at didn't have operable cameras to catch the people that did it. So it was at night, like I said, and it was just a horrible experience. That was probably the worst experience I've ever been in my entire life, and I felt like I was back in the civil rights movement all over again. Like, well, not all over again, but I didn't go through that, of course, but like, I just felt like, is this really what my ancestors used to have to go through just for being, you know, black? And it's really sad. So because I had done nothing, I was, like I said, in my uniform. And I felt like at this time, at that moment, I was just like, okay, I'm literally just being targeted for being black. And that's really sad because I've never been through nothing like that in my life. Like, I know that I'm not oblivious to, you know, America, and there, you know, that there's racist people out here. But at the end of the day, I never would have thought, you don't never think it's going to happen to you until it does. So that situation definitely put the cherry on top of my doubt of being in this career. And I was just like, you know what? I want to go home. I want to get my concealed carry license. And it just sucks because I've never been the type to want a gun around me at all. I think they're extremely dangerous, but at the end of the day, at this point, and where the direction that the U.S. is going in at this point, I just kind of want to have my own protection, and I can't depend on these men to take care of me. I got to be able to take care of myself, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to end up getting my concealed carry license and be able to, you know, carry a weapon with me. So yeah, the whole situation is still being worked out right now. I'm in a legal situation with the whole, you know, I don't even want to talk about that on camera because it's, you know, it's still pretty draining to me to even think about and to still be going through. So every time that I have other people have questions about, oh, do you like it? Because not everybody knows about the situation. I didn't like it. I'm sorry if I failed you all in any way, but at the end of the day, do what you want to do in your life. That's the only advice that I can give you. Like I said, this is not to deter anybody from not being a flight attendant or any of that stuff. If you want to be a flight attendant, definitely still pursue it. My journey is different from anybody else's journey. You could get into it and love it and do it for 30 plus years. So there are people like that. And if you do fly for 10 or more years, you do get to fly forever for free, you and your family. So that's a perk for sure. That's one thing I will miss, to be able to just get on the computer and book a flight wherever. But there wasn't much time for me to do that anyway. So especially when you're, you know, new off the, you know, out of training, you're gonna be flying flying. So yeah, I definitely wanted to come on here and tell you guys everything. It's been a minute. I didn't want to do it straight out of the whole experience, just because it was just a lot to talk about, and honestly I didn't want to get on here and boohoo cry. I didn't want to do any of that, even though you guys are used to that, and that's real for me. I'm a crybaby and I'm proud, so you know, I get my emotions out. I don't stick in, whether keep them in. I don't do that. So whether it's crying, it is what it is. My emotions come out, so excuse my language, but it is what it is. I love you guys so much, and I will see you queens in my next video. Deuces.